The benefit could be if you're experiencing any anxiety or depression, or that you've something that you just can't understand, it's not quite right going on in your life. The benefit would be to go and speak to a counselor or a psychiatrist or a psychologist to find out what's going on, so that you can be all that you are meant to be in God's eyes. In my 40s, I was experiencing some real strong anxiety, and I spoke with my doctor about it, and he suggested that I go and speak with a counselor about that. And at first I was like kind of insulted, but because I trusted my doctor and he was such an insightful man, I decided to go ahead and make an appointment. So through the help of my counselor and of course by God's grace, I learned that I had been sexually abused by an uncle. And that was a hard thing to learn at first, but when I went through counseling with my therapist, it just seemed like it was all worth the struggle that I had to go through to heal from that. And as a result, I just felt like I want to do this for other people also. Oh, that's one of the biggest myths in the world, is to think that if somebody goes to counseling, they have a mental illness or some kind of a terrible mental disorder. But for the most part, people who come to counseling have just situational difficulties in their life, whether it's a marriage problem or a problem with a parent, or like I said earlier, a problem with something that happened to them in childhood. That is not a mental disorder. That is seeking out mental health. Just like if you have a pain in your side, you go to the physical doctor and find out what it is. And if it turns out to be something like appendicitis, then the surgery is done and you're left with a scar, but the scar reminds you that you did have healing. So a similar thing can be said about the emotional impact of our lives. We can be suffering, and to go to a counselor would be just something that was really good for yourself, something you're doing for yourself to really improve your own life. And if you find out that there was a difficulty from childhood that comes up now, it's called post-traumatic stress disorder. And is it really a disorder? It's just kind of a word, and that's why it's called PTSD, and that means something happened to you either in childhood or some other kind of trauma, and it showed up as an adult, and now you're going to take care of it through counseling. Oh yes, I really think counseling and confession go hand in hand perfectly. You know, I say just try everything that you need to heal to the absolute best you can. Whether it's going to counseling or going to confession, just become whole.